Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer and coach from Live, Love, Give, and I'm coming to you from a beautiful room which I'll show you guys after I bring today's message to you guys, which is all about practicing non-justification in order to build your self-esteem. And I'm going to dive into what I really mean by that and also how you can apply it in your life right now to really re-establish some of your self-esteem that you may have been losing. And I can't wait to share that with you guys. And it's something that I've been practicing probably for about the last 5 years, but really going deeper and deeper and unraveling new levels in being able to do so. But I really wanted to talk to you guys about that today because it's a difficult thing, particularly for any of you guys who are currently people pleasing, or if you are a recovering people pleaser like myself, then you'll definitely know what I'm talking about in today's message. But ultimately, I want you guys to think about putting your own self in terms of your own needs, what's really healthy over and above anybody else in terms of their feelings. All right, and that is a super hard thing to even get your mind around when you're somebody potentially like me who's very focused, hyper-focused on the external in terms of what's going on with other people emotionally, and particularly when we lack self-esteem. Now, my past self consistently and constantly just focused on the external world in terms of, who do I need to be in order to make people happy, in order to therefore make me feel worthy within, right? So consciously we don't know this stuff, and based on reflection and self-development we get to understand where those patterns really come from, and that's ultimately what it is, or it was for me. But as time has gone on, I still find myself, even though I've built up quite a high self-esteem, I'm still a human being, and I still have moments where I drop back into over-focusing on the external, on people around me, over and above what's actually what I need and what I really want. And so that's kind of my Achilles heel a lot of the time. And I've definitely been set up with different challenges in order to give myself new opportunities to actually test myself on this. But one simple strategy that I have used a few times throughout my life, particularly over the last 5 years. Before that, I didn't even know this sort of thing existed. And very recently as well, I've had to step into a new kind of degree of non-justification. And what I really mean by non-justification is being able to choose what's right for me without having to sugarcoat it, soften it, explain it, justify it, and make it okay with everybody else around me. So that's super difficult. For some of you guys out there, you might have mastered this. You might think, you know what, if it doesn't work for me, I'm not going to do it. And that's just how it should be, right? And it might be pretty simple and easy, and hats off to you. You've aced this part of personal development and emotional intelligence. But for others of us, myself included, this can be super difficult. To be able to say no without giving a reason why. God, that's tough. That is super tough. And recently I found myself in a particular relationship of mine, in a particular friendship. I felt like some things just were not healthy, were not going well, and I felt like for either of us to a certain degree. And a coach of mine really kind of helped me sort of navigate that, and and sort of helped me to see why do you need to explain it? Why can't you just take time for you to get yourself in order, to work things out, and just go with whatever it is without justifying, explaining, or feeling bad about it? And that for me was a major hurdle to be able to just go, you know what, I need some time for me, and I actually don't need to justify it, explain it away. I don't need to make it okay. I don't need to pretend. I don't need to do any of that stuff. And every time you do that stuff, for the purposes of making it okay for somebody outside of yourself, you absolutely diminish your self-esteem. And the moment you have an ounce of courage to just go, you know what, how I feel right now, what's healthiest for me is this. And so I'm going to do this. And I am not going to feel obligated to justify away those reasons, to sugarcoat it, to be inauthentic in any way. And actually, you know what? Like, that's just how it's got to be. And it is so challenging yet so rewarding. And so for any of you guys out there who maybe struggle with with people pleasing, maybe you struggle with sort of putting your needs aside, I don't like to say it in terms of when I say my past self would just do everything for everybody else and make them happy, I'm not saying that from this oh, look at me, this is so good of me. I was actually benefiting from that. I was doing that in an unhealthy way because I had low self-esteem, low self-worth, and my way of gaining self-worth was from making other people happy. So that's giving to get. That's not this, completely altruistic, perfect human being who just selflessly gives to everybody else and doesn't expect anything back. That's not true. That's not real. Every single human being has an altruistic side, has that side of us that wants to absolutely make others happy. But we also have a narcissistic side, and you're not going to ever get away from that. So the sooner you own both parts of who you are, the sooner you can move forward and evolve and grow and progress to your new heights of your potential, because you're accepting the full spectrum of who you are without judgment. And on the flip side, when you start trying to put yourself in some altruistic box, like you just sacrifice for everybody else, that's not what love is either. And it ends up building tons of resentment, and that just kills relationships in the end anyway. Sorry, just had a visitor. I'm in this private room right now. But anyway, I'm hoping that this is resonating with you guys. I'm hoping that for any of you guys out there who are currently, another visitor, who are currently struggling with, any sort of self-esteem issues, any sort of people-pleasing issues. Maybe you're in some relationships that are just not healthy for you, and you know what would be healthy for you. You know what you need. You know what you want to do. Maybe you need some time for yourself, but you're too scared to actually do it, and you feel like you couldn't just do it without some sort of justification and sugarcoating. I challenge you to have the courage to do what you need to do for you, because at the end of the day, anything that we do at the expense of our own truth is only going to build up further resentments, and all it's going to do is kill your relationship in the long term, no matter what type of relationship it is, a friendship, a family relationship, an intimate relationship, whatever it is. If you're not speaking up, and if you're not aligning with what's healthy and true for you, and instead you're justifying away or self-sacrificing, you are only prolonging the death of your relationship, because resentment will slowly kill it over time. You'll get to a place where you feel like you cannot be all of who you are, and you've only got yourself to blame. All right, so the purposes of this message is to build your self-esteem and also create extraordinary relationships that actually grow and evolve in understanding and depth and love, rather than be killed a slow death of resentment because you're not speaking up, you're not being all of who you are, and you're feeling restricted in your relationships. So really, really hope that this is of value to you guys. I'd love to hear from you. So let me know. Tell me where in the world you are tuning in from. I'm in Aussie in New Zealand right now, and it's my last night here in beautiful New Zealand, visiting some family and checking out beautiful Wellington, going up to some beautiful mountains and national park and all sorts of stuff today. So I can't wait to share some photos of that with you guys. But let me know. And if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you, all about building your self-esteem, getting rid of the people-pleasing, and saving your relationships from a slow death of resentment, and instead growing them and nurturing them with love and courage to be able to speak your truth. So let me check in with you guys. I've got Justin and Lucy and Donald from Iowa. I love it. And Charlotte, loving that you're finding this a great topic. That's awesome to hear. And Scotty and Ko and Angela and Sunula and Yabaz and Tanya and Mike and Mia. Hello to you and much love to you, Adelpho. And Rose is here. I hope Insight is here as well. And Savula and Sam, awesome to see you, my friend. And Bradley and Luciana, loving that you're loving it. And Carlos is here. And Alok and Philippe and Luciana, you will. Awesome. I love it. And getting into the action and building your self-esteem. That's so, so cool. And Lewis and Sam, that has been my battle to overcome, and my inspirational values have centered me into alignment. Boom. I love hearing that. Absolutely. And I think so many of us struggle with this. And it's super challenging, but start small, start small in terms of not justifying why you want something, why you don't want something, what's right for you, what's true for you. Stop justifying. Just say what is true for you, and then just stop. That's it. That's all you have to do. And when you do that, you start trusting yourself more. You start building that relationship with you, because you feel like I'm putting me number one, and not in a narcissistic, over the top, you don't count, I matter most kind of way. Not in that way at all, but in the healthiest possible way. Like, you matter just as much as anybody else, and whatever's healthy for you is going to be healthiest for people that care about you as well. So I love that, Sam. Thanks for sharing. And Simon, you're so welcome, my friend, and loving that you're finding this awesome wing. And Robin's here. See you soon. And Philippe, send you a big hug. If we only justify, we don't assume responsibility, and it's like a victim state. Absolutely. No matter how well-intentioned your justification is, absolutely, it puts you into a victim mentality, and you just feel completely disempowered. You feel like how you feel doesn't actually really matter, and you overvalue the judgments, opinions, and criticisms in the external world over and above what you feel about you, what you think about you. That's so much more important. So absolutely, I love that, Philippe. And Sam, you always bring fantastic topics. Oh, thank you, Sam, and love your in-depth coverage. I love that. Thanks so much, Sam. And I'm so grateful you always show up. So it's always good to see you. And Moises and Ruini and Judy and Moises, I'm doing really well, and I hope you are too. And Melissa's here, awesome. And Charlotte, I am recovering from exactly what you are speaking about. Other than I did speak up for my needs without my partner acknowledging me, but I kept giving anyway. I'm afraid I'll repeat this pattern. Beautiful, and I so appreciate your authenticity and your openness, Charlotte. Thanks so much for sharing. And yes, I can completely resonate. And I think that, I love how Tony Robbins would talk into the concept around relationships. When a relationship, maybe your partner's, say, not meeting your needs, right? And you've been speaking them up, but your partner's not acknowledging them, as you say, Charlotte. And, but you're still giving, you're not giving in order to get, and you're not going, oh, you didn't give to me, so therefore I'm going to hold back and not give to you. You're actually giving unconditionally, but at some point, hopefully your partner will start coming on board and keep expressing that you do have needs, right? But don't stop giving. But then there is a point where you've done all that you can potentially in that relationship, where you realize that maybe your partner is just not going to meet you there. And that's why it's a beautiful thing for you to never stop giving, but realize where the limit is, realize where, okay, I've given this a really hard go. I've expressed, I haven't held back and expected my partner to just be a mind reader. I've actually expressed, I've actually known what I've needed. I've fully expressed that. I've given many options and solutions and opportunities for my partner to come and meet me on that journey. I've consistently given without holding back and being resentful. And at some point, your partner will either meet you on your level and you'll continue to grow together because they'll trust that you're going to continue to give to them and they want to come up onto that level and meet you there. Or you might find that they're just not ready to have that kind of relationship with you. And because you haven't stopped giving, you'll attract somebody into your life, hopefully, that will be up on that level with you in terms of giving and receiving unconditionally. Or, training somebody to do that with you as well. So Absolutely. My heart is with you there, Charlotte. And, you know, my belief is that we'd never rerun patterns that we are aware of. And every time that we do fall back into patterns, it's because we haven't actually overcome them. So do the work on you as much as you can. Reflect the power of reflection, you know, reflect back onto those moments in time, those patterns that you call them. What was driving them? What was the fear that was behind them? You know, and do the work on turning that around. You know, building your self-esteem is the foundational piece to actually breaking patterns and changing and shifting them. And if we think about patterns as like a car on dirt tracks, right? We've been riding these patterns, you know, we don't even have to think about them. Our brain just goes to them. They're the neural pathways, these dirt tracks. And in order to create some new tracks, you know, it's going to take some effort. But we have to first know where those tracks are heading, where they started, you know, what was that triggering point, where they're going. And that's when we can start going, you know, I don't want to go to that destination. Here's where I want to intentionally go. New destination. How am I going to get there? How am I going to close the gap between where I am, where I want to get to, that's not over there where I've been, which I've worked out I don't want anymore. And that's when we can start doing the work in that regard as well. So love that, Charlotte. Thanks so much for sharing. And Sam, you look vibrant with tons of energy. Oh, I'm so glad that I look vibrant with tons of energy, because I certainly am not. I am so tired, so exhausted. We've been moving around all over the place and different rooms all the time and staying different places, and it's been kind of crazy, and I'm super exhausted, but love that the camera must be working for me. I love that, Sam. Thank you. And Danny's here, and Rose. Hi, Vanessa. Yes, building a self-esteem is very important. Thanks for today's message. Yes, Insa is here and sleeping next to me. Beautiful, gorgeous. And I'm loving that this message resonated with you today, Rose. That's so, so cool. And Alex and Tayeb and Nikki and Sam, how long is the flight? The flight's only 3.5 hours. And the time difference is only 2 hours. So it's actually, I shouldn't complain at all. It's super easy. But I'm heading back to Melbourne tomorrow. So yes, it'll be good. And I want to show you guys a quick loop around this cool little room that I'm in the hotel, just in a private room. But I definitely, as always, want to send you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you, to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary. And I hope you're doing something super empowering. And I really hope that today's message has empowered you to think outside the box in terms of what do you want, and stop justifying it. If it's healthy for you and you know it's coming from the right place, that's all the justification that you need. All right, so just remind yourself of that. And thank you so much, Moises. I really appreciate your safe journey, travel, blah, whatever you're doing there. Great trip. Thank you so much. And let me just show you guys around. Do this way. So it doesn't really look as good in here, but I love chandeliers. I'm in a bit of a little private room going on. It's kind of cool. You can't really see. Oh, it's a bit rude. Yes, but that's where I am, and sending you guys all of my love, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow, probably from the airport here in Wellington. Much love.